What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show. My name is Brad. Obviously, I am not Ryan Ripken, but I still do have my co-host over there. There's Zach Bollinger behind the mic. What's up, my man?
What's up? How's it going? I know. Ryan's not here today, but we're still out.
But we
here.
are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, still talking ball. Lots to talk about. Interesting news for the Ravens, just kind of dropping before we went on, and then another fun weekend of NFL football. We got Game 7 tonight.
Yes.
So what a day for sports.
There is so much to talk about, and I'm just going to run this down the list. So, look, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and if it's a big deal or not a big deal. But there's a ton of other crazy shit that happened over this weekend. The Colts might be a Super Bowl contender. They might be the best team in the AFC, and nobody saw that one coming. We're going to dive in a little bit as to why that might be. Denver, look, as Ravens fans, we might get upset about blown leads in the fourth quarter, but it doesn't get much worse than it did in Denver. We'll talk about that. Also, I don't know if anybody heard, and Zach mentioned this, but there is a baseball game going on tonight, and it might be the most electrifying baseball game of the entire season. Yeah. Game 7 between two teams that one of them hasn't been to the World Series in 33 years. The other one has never been since its existence. Bali. So there is so much to talk about there. Also, Shohei Ohtani, it's not even a question anymore. He's the greatest baseball player of all time. We're going to explain why there as well later on in the show. But welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show. If you haven't done so already when you came in the door, hit that like button. And if you're not a channel member, we are going to limit this to channel members only chat in just a few minutes. So if you're not a member, you want to support the channel, you want to chat about what it is that we're talking about, hit that join button next to subscribe, because before long here, only our channel members will be able to talk to us here on the show, and you just might get a nice little shout out here in studio. So Zach, lay it on me, man. What's going on with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, so I mean, today was the Ravens' first day back at practice since returning from the bye week, and the number one story that everyone was looking for was, will Lamar Jackson be out there for the first time since getting injured in Kansas City? And we have our unfortunate answer, as Jonas Schaefer reported. Lamar Jackson with a hamstring is still missing at Ravens practice. John Harbaugh said after the Rams lost that the hope was to have him back versus Chicago this Sunday. If Lamar can't practice this week, Cooper Rush, Tyler Huntley will get the nod again. I mean, it's early in the week. It's Monday. But at the same time, this is coming off a bye. Mm-hmm. This is, you're hoping that, at least you're seeing Lamar out there throwing the ball, something to give you this idea that he is, in fact, going to play on Sunday. You didn't get it. He is not out there. So we'll start, Brad. I mean, where's your panic meter on this?
It's not very high. Not yet. I think, it's the first day after the bye, first work day, I guess, after the bye. I don't think that there's anything to worry about just yet. If we don't hear anything by Wednesday about what the hell's going on with Lamar Jackson, then some red flags are going to go off. Some alarm bells are going to sound, and then I'm going to get really worried about what's going on versus the Bears here this weekend. What say you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm concerned about this because I was hoping at least in some limited capacity we would see Lamar. But I'm going to hold out until Wednesday before I officially smash the panic button. And the reason that the panic button is even on the table, to be honest, is because, well, the situation the Ravens are in, they have to win this game on Sunday.
Correct.
This is not like the Rams. This is not, like the Texans game where you went into it and you're like, if they win, that would be really helpful. It'd be really helpful if they win. But if they don't, okay, season, you make it a little tougher, but you got to go from there. We were talking about this off screen beforehand. If the Ravens, let's say Lamar is not able to go this week and they fall to the Bears and fall to 1-6, you can pretty much kiss the season goodbye. Over. I mean, 1-6, 1-5 already coming back from 1-5 is in and of itself a big feat. Like, they are going to have to be borderline perfect throughout the rest of the season. if Lamar's not out there this Sunday and you can't get a win, even if Lamar is out there and you can't get a win, it definitely changes this season from hey, can they still go for it, to trades are happening and it's not to acquire talent, and it's probably more on development, unfortunately, than anything else after that.
Yeah, 1-6 is an impossible feat to overcome. I think you're right. I think if they go into this game with no Lamar Jackson, and we've seen this entire season, the average points per game with this team is 6.5 versus the 32.5 when Lamar Jackson's in. I just don't know, if he's not playing, how this team actually wins another ball game for the rest of the season if they can't figure out how to score more points. At a time where the defense actually looked like the defense a little bit against the Rams. Now, I don't know if that's going to be indicative of what the defense will be for the rest of the season, but if they can play like that all the way to the finish line, the defense is going to be pretty solid, and they're overall healthy. But the thing is that you can't win ball games if you don't score points. So unless you're the 2000 Ravens, which this team is not.
No.
So I in my opinion, I would agree with you. I think that it's a little, let's pump the brakes on panic right now. By Wednesday, there's no Lamar Jackson, and it comes out that he's not playing on Sunday. This season's over for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. And that's what sucks, is that, had they won one or two of those other games, if they were sitting at 3-3, you'd be concerned about Lamar not playing this Sunday. But at the end of the day, it would be kind of like when we were going up against the Rams, going up against the Texans. You'd be happy with the win, but you're not expecting it. And if you don't win, it doesn't mean the season's over. Well, unfortunately, that's not reality. You're sitting at 1-5.
Yep.
You made your bed, you got to lay in it. And that includes, you are going to need to, the NFL, the Bears do not care if, Lamar's out, we don't want to win this one. Like, they really need a win here. Like, they are also trying to win. Like, they are going to do everything to win this game. So you can't expect them to, take things lightly. They're hot coming into this game. So this is a massive week, and it is not starting off on a good foot if you're the Ravens. Yes, you can talk about Roquan Smith returned, all those guys. So, yeah, you're getting guys back. Patrick Ricard's practicing. All of that is great, but it all revolves around number 8 being out there, because if he's not out there, I mean, we can only have so many Cooper Rush versus Tyler Huntley debates. I mean, you're not in a good position if one of those two is having to start for you on Sunday.
Here's my other thing too. And look, I know that I'm an armchair quarterback. Just given what we've seen with our naked eye, Zach, Cooper Rush starts this game. If there's no Lamar Jackson, if Cooper Rush starts this game, I'm going to lose my shit, because this offense was not designed for a Cooper Rush style quarterback. And Tyler Huntley knows John Harbaugh. He knows what his job is as the backup quarterback, as a dynamic backup quarterback. He has to start this game if Lamar Jackson's not ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, especially I just feel like with the offensive line and the shape that it's in, and just what we've seen them play, I feel like the mobility of Tyler Huntley, like, if anything, I mean, those final few drives he was in versus the Rams, it wasn't necessarily designed plays. It was just plays that blew up in his face, that he's able to use his athleticism. The same plays that Cooper Rush was getting sacked on, he's at least gaining 2-3 yards. We saw him take off for 10, 15 on big 3rd and 4th downs. I agree. I also think it puts stress on, the defense in the running game. Now suddenly Derrick Henry, you have to wait that extra second to see if Huntley's keeping it. I think it just opens up a lot more. I mean, from the beginning, hell, we even talked to Ian Eagle about it, where it's like, it's a very different offense. Like, I don't know why the backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson was a very, very, very pure pocket passer, because that doesn't, I get it. Todd Monken has had many, many offenses throughout his career. If you want to go back to Georgia, obviously, Carson Beck, all of them, or Stetson Bennett, and just kind of building with pocket passers. So that's, yes, the experience is there. But in the NFL,
that's not,
Cooper Rush, you can't have Lamar Jackson be the focal point of your entire offensive game plan, then just shift it over to Cooper Rush. That's not going to win you ball games.
The Cooper Rush signing never made any sense to me, and I thought maybe they just knew more than I did, which I always concede to. Hey, like I'm not getting paid to make these decisions, so I have my opinions, but it doesn't mean that they are always good opinions. But this one seems to be a bit validating because when I was scratching my head when they signed him and now watching him play on that ball field, this isn't, I don't think, an indictment on Cooper Rush. I think it's the system that he's been put in.
Yeah. And that's, it's the NFL, unfortunately. And we have to give it to him. That game against the Texans, I don't know if, Huntley wouldn't have made a difference, anything. That was just, they just got absolutely whooped in that game. But this is where we're at in the season where we are, it's down to, the Ravens, the Bears coming to Baltimore is a win or go home-esque game now, and it does not help if Lamar Jackson's out your quarterback. I think, everyone's kind of overlooking the Bears in a sense. I don't think they're world beaters. I don't think they're this great team, but I don't think it's necessarily the quote-unquote tune-up game.
They can be that spoiler kind of team.
Exactly. And now suddenly, it's already sitting there even with a healthy Lamar where you're like, okay, don't drop this game to the Bears. Don't take them too lightly, all that. Cooper Rush or Tyler Huntley starting, this turns into an interesting ball game because now suddenly if the Ravens can't move the ball, they're going to have to rely solely on Derrick Henry, on, the gadgety plays, stuff like that. It's going to be a much tougher task. I mean, currently the Ravens, I believe, are 6.5-point favorites. That is assuming that Lamar's going to play.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, if we see something similar to the Texans game where the Ravens were favored by like 8.5, then they announced Lamar's not playing. And it went to 2.5-point underdogs. I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly it was Ravens favored by 1, by 2.
Yeah.
If, Cooper Rush, I think they'd still give the Ravens the favorites. But this team looks, we've seen it. This team looks a whole lot different with Lamar Jackson and without Lamar Jackson.
For sure. I think, we can come back to this topic if we want to, as people roll in and ask questions. I would say, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, I just don't know where we go from here. I'm not saying that it's an unwinnable game against the Bears because, as you'd mentioned, they're not world beaters, but it makes me very nervous just given the level of play that we've had or that we've seen from a team in the Houston Texans that didn't even score 20 points all season long. And then all of a sudden just steamrolled the Ravens. And then you have other teams that have just manhandled this defense and the offense. Even when Lamar Jackson was healthy, you had questions about this team. And it was at the time we're like, oh, they're still trying to get their footing, nothing to panic about, but no Lamar Jackson and a 1-6 team. We'll be talking about something else besides the Ravens this season.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing, because it's actually, we talked about this off the screen too. I don't know if there's a lot of great teams in the National Football League this year. It feels like there is a cluster of good teams. It's like there are a lot of good teams. I don't think any team jumps off the page to me right now as that's the team that's going to be in the Super Bowl. You thought maybe for 3 weeks you're like, oh, just based on how everyone else looks compared to them, are the Bills just, go steamroll into this, or the Eagles go steamroll into this?
Right.
Both of them lose back-to-back games. So then you're like, oh, okay. Hell, the Broncos are 5-2, but they don't know how to play football the first 3.5 quarters. They just decide at the end, they're like, it's go time. Let's try to make something happen here. And it's worked out for them. Colts are doing the Colts things. I mean, there's just no team right now sticks out to you anywhere and makes you go, that's the team that can win it all. Hell, even the Rams at one point, it was like, ooh, is that the team? A beat-up 49ers team beats them.
Yeah,
it's like there really is.
And they get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
In London.
Yeah, and they go, toe-to-toe with a Ravens team. And, that was with Cooper Rush and them. So it really just feels like this league right now is as wide open as ever. And that's what's even more frustrating from a Ravens standpoint because holy crap, even if you were 3-3 right now, you feel like you are just so like you're almost in control of everything. But
there is
1-6
exception.
Changes it.
One exception to that, I will say, Zach, as far as elite teams in the NFL. We're going to get into that in just a second. But I did want to shout out some of our channel members. Joe, always coming in early. What's up, Stackhouse? Good to see you, my man. Sam, always good to see you as well. Had some baseball comments. We'll get into that in a second. But I did want to bring up one comment that I was scratching my head on. Zach, what do you make of this comment? So it says, so are you saying that starting quarterback is impotent? Imagine that.
Yeah.
I don't know if sexual performance had anything to do with it. Maybe you meant important, but the quarterback position is important.
It's very. It's very.
Give the guys a Viagra. See what happens.
Chad Ochocinco.
Well, that is true. Maybe you did mean impotent. Maybe you should ask Cooper Rush. I don't know. I know. Listen. Okay. So, as I mentioned, there's one exception. There is a team out there, in my opinion, that stands to just steamroll everybody because that's what they're doing right now, and it's the Indianapolis Colts. Holy shit, Zach.
Yeah.
A Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. Who knew that this guy was paid $40 million to win ball games? And so much so, look, that Dan Orlovsky went on the Pat McAfee show and talked about how good the Colts are and just how unstoppable they can be throughout the rest of this season. Go ahead and play that, Zach.
Pittman, obviously need to keep Pittman doing his thing. Pierce making some tough catches.
So many weapons. Downs, unbelievable.
Jonathan Taylor.
Dude, that Colts team,
Go on.
they are schematically
Yeah.
as well coached as anybody in the NFL on both sides. Dude, the stuff that Lou Anarumo is doing defensively, D-Butt, is insane. Some of the pressure package. Sometimes I watch their tape, I'm like, I have no idea what this defense is.
And Nick Cross, too, number 20, he's going to get home.
He went off.
He is going to get home. He has a lot of blitzes for us. He has a lot of pressure for us. He does
Leading
great
tackler
on our defense. Yeah, he is
interception
all over the place. Bynum, obviously, spectacular. Kenny Moe's back for first time, long time. That's huge play. I mean, in the red zone, getting that type of turnover is gigantic.
But, I think they went, three-man rush with the spy. They doubled Ladd. They doubled Keenan, I want to say. It was pretty exotic, the stuff that they do. Look they're doubling, they're cutting, they're replacing. It's three-man with the spy. Dude, it's nuts.
Yeah, we do what we do. I mean, this is what we've been saying this whole season. Thank you and welcome to the fucking show, pal. AJ, Lou Anarumo's defense perfect for Indianapolis. Been saying it since the offseason.
Yeah, we have. Dana, why'd the Bengals get rid of Lou Anarumo if we see what he can do here with this Colts defense?
Look at that's Grover Stewart's pick. Look at everybody on the field, Dano. Look at everybody celebrating this pick. It's second quarter.
That's not a penalty, right? I was worried they're going to call this a penalty in real time.
The offense coming on the field. Defense going, there's a lot of bodies.
Like 50 dudes out there. It was amazing.
Well,
So, obviously, Pat and the boys, and including Dan Orlovsky, think that the Colts have what it takes to go to the Super Bowl and potentially win. And it's hard to argue that, Zach. I mean, you're looking at the Colts, the first team in NFL history to score their first 10 possessions of the season. They're racking up 103 points through those first 3 games that they had, which is also absolutely insane. Daniel Jones, how many interceptions do you think Daniel Jones has over the last 4 games?
Is it 0? 1?
It's 0. Wow. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown an interception in the last 4 games. His passer rating is 105. He's 3rd in yards per game at 290 yards. And then Jonathan Taylor is also playing like the offensive player of the year yet again. Yeah. Look, the defense for the Colts has actually been pretty good over the last several years. It's always been, what's the offense going to do? Anthony Richardson has always been a huge question mark. He's got injury issues and everything else. I think his career is potentially over. Although we say this about guys like Daniel Jones last year, and then here he is going off. But Tyler Warren also 450 yards this season. I mean, this guy is the best tight end out there right now. 5 touchdowns on the year. The defense, we talked about him. I just talked about him. They're 12th in the NFL. So, top 15. They are top 10 in sacks and turnovers forced at 8. It keeps getting better and better and better. Their Super Bowl odds have now gone up at plus 1,800, Zach.
Yeah. I mean, this team is going to go. You talked about it. They're going to go as far as Daniel Jones takes them. And it feels like the big story when it was first announced. I mean, we even reacted to a video where it was like, if you choose Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson to go into the season, you're choosing to pick a quarterback in the first round because there's no way you can possibly win with Daniel Jones. And all they've done is gone out there and win with him. And it feels like we're just waiting for this, magic carpet ride, the Cinderella run, for the clock to strike midnight. And so far it hasn't happened. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure if it's, did Daniel Jones discover something? Is it because of maybe a better offense, or maybe a better system, surrounding cast, whatever it may be? But the Colts, they are establishing the run. Jonathan Taylor, I would say, is Offensive Player of the Year at the moment for sure. He has just been absolutely unbelievable. I think it was like his second or third 3-touchdown game of the year already. He is one of those playmakers. He's almost putting up what Saquon did last season, in the fact of he is just scoring so much. You are just at any part of the field, he is able to score. Throw him a screen pass at the 50, he'll take it to the house. Hand it off to him at the 40, he'll take it to the house. He's probably the best running back in football right now, at least playing like the best running back when you look at statistics. And man, the weapons that they have, you mentioned Tyler Warren. To this day, I still don't understand why Tyler Warren, I understand the Bears. They wanted to go with, they wanted to go with Loveland, all that. But Tyler Warren was, in my mind, very clearly the best tight end in college football last year. It was he and Brock Bowers for 2 years.
And now he's looking to be the best tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, and he does everything. He catches the ball. Hell, they run it with him. He's an incredible blocker. He has everything you've wanted, and he really just completed this offense. Then we take it over to the defense. Love the Nick Cross. Love former Maryland Terrapin. It really is just one of those teams right now where you look at them on paper and they're not stacked at every position, but they have damn good football players all over the field. And it just feels like the energy that they have right now. It is almost one of those vibes things where everything's going so well. They're playing great football, but you can just tell everyone is so bought in. This was a team, everyone was kind of preparing for a fire sale. They were going to burn it down and restart after the season. Steichen, get him out of here. We're going to get rid of everyone. We're going to start from the bottom and go from there.
Well, now Shane Steichen might be the coach of the year.
If it ends today, without a doubt. I think that's the incredible part of it is you sat there and everyone was ready for the Colts to be in the number one pick conversation.
Yeah.
It was the Colts are starting Daniel Jones. Their season's over. And it's been incredible because I don't think anyone, when they chose Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson, I don't believe there was a soul out there who was this is the correct win decision. People were okay, maybe you want Anthony Richardson on the bench a little bit more. I was of the thing of why? Because I didn't think they had any aspirations. So I thought, okay, why are you not seeing what you have with Richardson? They saw something with Jones, and man, is it paying off for them.
You know what they saw with Jones? They saw that Kevin O'Connell coached him for a year.
Yeah,
or not even a year. He was on the Kevin O'Connell tree, and fuck it. Anytime somebody goes over there, they just turn into absolute gold. Sam Darnold's still playing his ass off in Seattle after being with Kevin O'Connell, and JJ McCarthy. We'll see what happens, but I think he's gonna be an absolute stud. Even Carson Wentz, they lost to the Eagles, but he still looks way better than he did before going to the Vikings. There's something about Kevin O'Connell and that golden touch that he has on quarterbacks.
Yeah. And it's also just Daniel Jones, if this continues, his contract's up after the season.
Yeah.
So I would assume the Colts have to franchise tag him and work out a long-term deal, especially if this continues. But
oh my God, they go deep in the playoffs with Daniel Jones. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I think it's also hysterical looking back. Obviously, we don't know what JJ McCarthy's going to be, what he can develop into and everything. But at the moment, you look at it and it's they had JJ McCarthy, Daniel Jones, and Sam Darnold on the team last year. And the one that they picked is probably not the one that's taken them the furthest this season.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone saw that coming when it's okay, you have this first round pick. They have Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. I don't think anyone was thinking that Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones were going to be the ones leading their teams into the promised land this season. But that's just kind of where we're at in the NFL and the landscape of the National Football League.
Something about those quarterbacks that start in New York, man.
Yeah, just give them 5 years. And that's another thing about just the development. We get into this all the time, and it's just such a massive issue in the NFL. There's just no development or time to develop. And people just get thrown away so quickly. And, you think about how many other quarterbacks, if they would have been given a second or third opportunity, something happens. Yeah. And you got to think about that. Definitely, I feel like gives you more reasoning. Some of these teams like the Saints and stuff, it's like, why are we not taking flyers on some of ththese guys just to see what they've got?
Yeah.
But it's good for Daniel Jones and this entire team, because the Colts, I didn't see it coming, but they are playing like a team that, Dan Orlovsky said it right now, one-on-one. The Colts, I do think, can beat anyone. It might not be easy. It might take a little effort, but I mean, this team can beat you in so many different ways that it's hard to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, give me a team that can beat the Colts right now. I mean, maybe the Chiefs.
I was going to say, I think, in the AFC, obviously the Chiefs, I think they would beat the Bills right now.
The Bills look like a fraudulent team, by the way, and we won't talk about that. We won't get into the Bills too much today, but they look like a fraudulent team.
Yeah, I mean, they are a Ravens. If the Ravens don't blow that fourth quarter lead, people are looking at the Bills a lot differently at 3-3 with their 3 wins being close wins against, or I guess besides the winless Jets, but close wins against some bad teams.
Yeah.
So I agree. Obviously this is just I don't think anyone saw this coming. Yeah. When you look back, I mean, Drake May might be the best quarterback in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's one of the seasons we're having in football.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I will say this: I'm happy for Daniel Jones. I'm glad to see that it's working out for him. And speaking of working out, Merit Clubs, who sponsored the show here, they're one of our biggest sponsors and biggest supporters of the Ryan Ripken Show. They are having a promotional month in the month of October. It's spooky season, and to celebrate spooky season, they're offering a $1 membership for the first month that you are there at Merit. So go check them out. You can go sign up for $1. Tell them the Ryan Ripken Show sent you. And Zach, how do you spell dollar, by the way?
MERRITT.
Yeah, see, that's how you execute that shit.
Yeah, then there's Ryan.
Yeah. Anybody notice how well run this show is today?
Started on time.
There's a common denominator.
Yeah.
All right. So we just went from talking about one of the best teams in the NFL, and it's next up the worst team in the NFL. And there is no close second to worst team. There's the Miami Dolphins, and that's it as far as just the absolute worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's between them and the Raiders. Weirdly, the Saints have better vibes than both of those.
But
teams
the Raiders have a great coaching staff. It's just the talent that's there Geno Smith is not that guy. So you have good pieces of talent, and there are flashes of like good football with the Raiders, but the Dolphins just from the ownership all the way down, it's bad. It's bad, and it's so bad that you almost look at Mike McDaniel and be like, man, I wish the ownership would just old yeller this guy, because he's every time he stands up on stage or for in his press conferences, he just looks like somebody put me out of my misery. And we have a clip of that. Zach, we have that clip pulled up. Yeah. So go ahead and play that real quick and just see Mike McDaniel's reaction after yesterday's game.
A lot of guys that will have an important work week because we're not. I mean, if you are negatively affecting the football team routinely, I don't have a choice but to assess a different player, and I have to coach a lot better as well. So we're going to find out who and what we're made of.
I have no idea what the fuck he just said.
And the whole thing about, and it's even crazier when you think about, like, he is very clearly taking a shot at Tua.
Yeah.
Talking about, we have to, if you're routinely hurting the team, we're going to have to assess someone else. It's when they brought in Quinn Ewers to replace Tua halfway through the game. And then just the vibes of that as well were just so weird. If you saw the video, Quinn Ewers comes out, I think it was 3 and out, and starts walking off the field like, his first big moment in the National Football League, towards his coach to like ask him like, yeah, it didn't work out. What are we doing? And McDaniel just ignores him.
Yeah.
Literally just ignored him and was like, get off the field. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
I don't think vibes have ever been worse in
an
organization. This is horrible. I do not know, like, tearing it down might not even be the right move. Like, I I genuinely don't know where you go from this because this team had all this potential. I mean, if you look at Tua is under contract until 2028. He's making a lot of money. It just, I mean, his cap hit hell after start next year. It goes 56 million, 53, 65. I don't think that they can't continue to, they already announced that Tua is the starting quarterback for at least next week.
Yeah.
This, like you said, this is one of those things where I just think it's almost like everyone involved knows that this is over.
Yeah.
Like this.
There are worse organizations historically, but just this season, the Dolphins are the worst organization of this season. And historically, they've been bad too. Don't get me wrong. But in my opinion, the Browns are still the worst.
Yeah, overall
team organization historically. The Jets are a close second historically. And then you have the Dolphins. And Laura said not the Jets. I would even say the Jets are a better team this season. A winless Jets team, by the way, are a better team than the Dolphins are just because of the lead. I mean, look at that guy. Mike McDaniel coming into the Miami Dolphins when he first started, right? He was all buttoned up. He looked like Jake from State Farm. Yeah. He was ready to go. And now he looks like he belongs on Miami Vice. Pull that video back up real quick. And just like look at this man. He's just disheveled. He just looks like he doesn't want to be there. Hair's a freaking mess. Like he just looks sad, man.
There's just that's where we're at in the season is that, you see the videos of him walking off each week and he just looks dejected.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like nobody wants, like, who wants to be a part of this organization right now? If I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm almost just getting excited because I'm like, next year I'm probably coaching a really cool team.
I'll just be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, like somewhere. I'm going to be a really sought after OC. Like I've seen, the Chiefs fans are begging for him. Ravens fans are begging for him.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I'm just in there. I'm like, I'm just letting this thing ride until I get, my OC job. Maybe down the line he gets another opportunity to head coach. But, I mean, it is a complete 180. The vibes in Miami, I mean, you think about it 2-3 years ago, Miami's a win in Baltimore away from getting the 1 seed. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Jalen Waddle. They have all these, Tua and Mike McDaniel, the offensive guru. Defense was starting to put it together a little bit. And you're like, man, this Miami team could maybe make, I don't know about Super Bowl, but they can be a legit, if that offense gets cooking, they can beat anybody on any given Sunday and make a run at this thing. Then next thing I mean, it's been 20 plus years since they've won a playoff game. I mean, they are just – everything crashed so fast. I don't think I've seen a team just kind of, I don't want to call them on top of the world, but just that projection of it looked like Mike McDaniel was the guy. It looked like Tua had it figured out, especially with the weapons. They were just putting things together. It was all working. And now you look at it and you're like, they just run different screens with pre-snap motion. And you're like, it's the same thing every play. We'll have 7 guys in motion. Then we just hand it to Devon Achane.
So the biggest flaw with Mike McDaniel's coaching style and the Baltimore and the Dolphins was that this team was never physical from day one.
Yeah.
They were always a finesse team, and sometimes you can win with that. But we saw this, that Dolphins team that could have been the 1 seed, Zach, go to Kansas City and get boat raced physically. Yeah. And that type of playing style will only get you so far. You have to basically make sure that you're not going to play some physical team in the playoffs, and the likelihood of that happening is pretty much nothing. So that would be my biggest critique of Mike McDaniel and his coaching style from day one, was that they're just always a finesse team. Mm-hmm. And now it's the mental toughness just isn't there anymore. I can't believe he's still the coach of the Dolphins.
I legitimately, the only reason that I think he still is because they have no hope, and they're just like, hey,
who else are we going to put in there?
Like almost just like an unfortunate, like take one for the team. Like because if they were trying to any sort of put some, some juice into this team, we're going to figure, they would have handed Anthony Weaver the keys, just making him interim, see what he can do, see if he can fire the guys up, all of that stuff, and just literally try anything, like just throw it at the wall and see what sticks. But I think they are just accepting that they are going to walk out there every 7 days, hopefully come out with 1 or 2 wins the rest of the season if they're lucky, and then just reassess everything going into the offseason.
It's just like every 2 years the Dolphins are blowing up their team.
Yeah, they are. They
2
are in a legitimate, like, people want to talk about like the Browns being in an endless rebuild. The Browns, like, they're in an endless rebuild, but they're in a rebuild where it's like, okay, even when they're great, you're like, this team is like, there's never really like tearing it down. They don't never have enough to like tear it down and rebuild. It feels like every 2 years you're like, oh, the Dolphins got something. And then you're like, okay, the Dolphins got to scratch all
well,
that.
yeah, because the Browns, the last time the Browns had the first overall pick was Baker Mayfield. That was 7 years ago. So the last 7 years, they've been a mess.
Yeah.
They've continued this quarterback carousel for the last 30 years. That hasn't stopped. But you're right. They've kind of been bad, but not so bad that they get a number 1 overall pick. We can move on, but man, just the Dolphins are just absolute mess. And it's just like, it's a shocking mess. It's not even just like, oh, this is a bad team. They come from a bad organization. It's just, just when you think it can't get any worse, it just does. So moving on, speaking of bad things happening, the Denver Broncos were down 32-0 going into the fourth quarter against the Giants yesterday. And they came back and had one of the wildest comebacks in NFL history and won that damn game. Now, we talk about this all the time about John Harbaugh, as being Ravens fans here in Baltimore, blowing a lot of fourth quarter leads. Yeah. You know what? Ain't that bad when you're up 33-0 and you lose that game.
That was just the most, I'm going to call it the most Bo Nix game I've ever seen, because it was legitimately, you're sitting there and I just keep thinking to myself, like, holy crap, Bo Nix sucks. And like, you're just like, man, this is awful. And all of a sudden, everything just clicked. Bo Nix was scrambling. He was breaking out of tackles. He was running for touchdowns. He was finding the open guy. Everything was in rhythm. And you're like, you guys could have blown this Giants team out of the water if you even just played 50% of this. And the next thing you know, the craziness of it all was you literally go down, you score the go-ahead touchdown, and you're like, holy crap, what a win for the Broncos. Then Jackson Dart matches that with a touchdown. Kicker misses the extra point because kickers.
Right.
And then next thing you know, the Broncos drive down the field. Bo Nix has his moment with 30 seconds left. Get in field goal range, kick it to win. So they almost came back and then still screwed it up. And just that was probably one of the craziest games. It felt like that fourth quarter lasted 7 years. 33 points in the fourth quarter. 33 points.
Bo Nix went 18 for 25 for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in the quarter.
It's just unreal.
He had a 75-yard touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton, a 2-point conversion, and Will Lutz's game-winning 51-yarder to win the game, as you had mentioned. But 250. We saw this with Josh Allen the first game of the season, but 250 yards and 3 tutties in the fourth quarter after being down 32-0. I know they say every given Sunday, but wow, this just embodied that. That was just absolutely insane. I don't know what to make of the Broncos either. We've talked about how teams are evolving. We're kind of seeing who they are now that we're about 7 weeks in. And I think the Broncos are still a head scratcher for me, Zach. I don't know what to make of them. I don't know if they are contenders to go deep into the playoffs, or they could just absolutely implode and be, the bottom of the barrel in the division. I really don't know what to make of the Denver Broncos. They beat teams like the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
And pretty handily, by the way. And then
was that big fourth quarter? It was the same thing. It was like
you're right.
The Eagles were just kind of sleepwalking. You're like, oh, the Broncos didn't put up a fight. And then just out of nowhere in the fourth, you look up and I literally was like, okay, one, why are the Broncos going for 2? This game's out of 4. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, good to make it a 6-point game. You guys are still kind of you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Then they get the ball back. All of a sudden you look up, you're like, the Broncos just took the lead. Right. You're like, what the heck? Same thing with this. You're sitting there and you're like, wow, Broncos get embarrassed. Like that's kind of shitty for them. Giants come in and just take your lunch money. They're looking at me, you're like, oh, okay, Bo Nix touchdown. I was like, good for them.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, okay, another touchdown. Wow, make it in a close game. Good for them. That was like, wait a second, are they about to do? And I swear, every time I looked up, I was like, how did they just get the ball back? And I mean, there was that crazy Jackson Dart touchdown that tipped off of two guys, fell into Theo Johnson's lap, and he takes it for 50 yards for a touchdown. So then you're like, oh, okay, so this is just one of those games, like the Broncos aren't actually doing this. Then they come back from that. And I agree. This is the long-winded way to say I do not get this team. I don't know if
I don't understand them either. Maybe they just like to be dramatic against the NFC East. I really don't know. I will say this: if you're a Giants fan out there, your team's fine. I think that the Giants are very scrappy. I think they're one or two playmakers away. And obviously Malik Neighbors is out, but like maybe they are a Malik Neighbors away from winning that division.
I think I will say this. I think low-key the best thing to happen for the Giants is they lose a bunch of these really close games and they go get Tyson, the number one receiver in the draft. You put him, Neighbors, Scadaboo, and Jackson Dart as your offense. Their defense is taking strides. They're going to have cap. Like that defense is great, can be great. You get Neighbors back. You add on another top-end wide receiver. The Giants got something. Yeah. They got something.
Jackson Dart's got that swagger. That whole team's got a vibe going on. Scadaboo is I love that guy too.
We will not play tackle football once they see what's going on in his brain. But it's like
I know
that video. I always go back to that video of the Arizona State walk-in and all the players are walking through the tunnel and just at the side, Scadaboo just bent over, hitting his head against the brick wall. And the one team goes, what the hell? And they all just keep walking. Like that's just Cam being Cam.
Yeah.
Like that guys, that is a fun team. I don't know if they're a good team right now, but man, if you're not going to win games, you're having fun right now.
I don't think they're a good team. I don't think they're a bad team.
No, they're not a bad team.
I don't think they're not. They're not a top 5 team.
No,
they might be. I think
they're
into the top 10.
Yeah, I think there's one of those things where right now they're only 4. I'll say like 3-4 bad teams. I'm going to say the Saints are a bad team. Dolphins are a bad team.
Yeah,
Raiders are a bad team.
Yeah,
everyone else,
the Jets.
Yeah, Jets. Okay, sorry. Yeah, 4. Just those 4. Those are bad teams. Bad teams. The rest of the league, when you look at Titans, I'll also put the Titans. I forgot, especially after Cam Ward threw it backwards for his own. That was up.
Cardinals might be up there too.
I don't know. Jacoby Brissett has them kind of moved. Jacoby Brissett looking way better than Kyler Murray, but it's one of those things where
that's
like
all
the
you
Cardinals.
Need to know.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, like at least they're like competing in games. Like a lot of these teams, I feel like those 5 teams are your bad teams.
Yeah.
Where it's like whoever's going up against them, they're probably going to whoop their ass. The rest of the league, it's like if they're matched up, you're kind of sitting there going, either team I could see winning this ball game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I feel like, where we keep talking about this is felt as open of a year in the National Football League as I remember. Now it could still end up being Eagles Chiefs for the 4th time or whatever, 3rd time. And we're just like, oh, should have seen this coming. But right now, man, it feels open as could be.
It really does. And I'm just kind of excited to see where the Giants can go. But as far as the overall league in and of itself, this is what the NFL always wants. They always want teams that you kind of really don't know what's going to happen. And then inevitably the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Anyhow, we can shift gears a little bit from the NFL. I actually just received a text from an old friend of mine. If you guys don't know this about me, I was actually a YouTuber. I had a I was a YouTube personality well before I met Ryan and became part of the Ryan Ripken Show. I had 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I was based around finance and had a couple of business partners. One of them, as you guys might know, was a part of the reason why this studio exists. Christian Castro, God rest his soul. The other one, Zach, was a guy by the name Jake Amaral, and he helped me on the back end of stuff with like websites, and he was a technical guy. He does a lot of trading. algorithmically, and he's also from the Toronto area. I literally got a text message. He doesn't watch this show, really. I don't think. I literally just got a text message from him, and it just says, "How about them Blue Jays?" And how about them Blue Jays? This has been one of the most electrifying series of the playoffs. And I mean, you have a team that hasn't been to the World Series in 33 years, and they won, by the way. And then you have another team that's never been on either side of the coast. Like it just, there's so many storylines that are going along with this. And before we get into it, I did want to, this is actually, let's just talk about this series in general, and then we'll get into kind of like the odds and what you have going on over there on the Hollywood casino side, Zach Bollinger.
This series has been, well, one, it's been a roller coaster because, man, did it look like the Mariners were going to run away with this. I was thinking, holy crap, they're about to sweep it 2-0. Two big wins.
They look like they were in full command of this series.
Yeah, I mean, especially after game 2, they put up 10+ runs. You're sitting there and you're like, damn. Going back to Seattle, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a gentleman's sweep, 4-1, 4-0, just straight sweep. And then Toronto comes back and they win the next 2. And you're like, oh, okay. You know, we've got something to fight for. Then they split the next 2. And, this is for it all. There's nothing. Nowhere else you'd rather be. The 2 best words in sports, game 7. And it really is one of those series where obviously it kind of sucks being an AL East fan because I'm not one of those people who's like, I want my division to succeed. I hope they all fail their goals. So I want the Mariners personally, but I still you can't ignore the story aspect of it. And and hey, I'll also throw this out there. It would be cool. I mean, Blue Jays versus Dodgers, you get to see the 2 teams that supposedly were the bidding war for Shohei Ohtani. Now, allegedly. But
the Blue Jays were in the bidding for everybody.
Yeah, they just want
anybody who was a name. Literally. They put their hat in.
They will send you a plan.
Yeah,
they just come out there and look at it. But it does kind of get that vibe of this game is one of the bigger. I mean, just more anticipated game 7s in a while. It's not because it's the biggest stars or anything like that, but it's 2 fan bases that are just begging, grasping for any sort of success and just, getting back to that World Series or getting to the World Series. I mean, the Mariners right now are the furthest they've ever been in franchise history. This is the first time they've won a 3rd game in an ALCS ever.
Yep.
So, you talk about a Mariners fan from their aspect, this is all those years of just sucking.
I saw a video of a Mariners fan actually crying on his couch.
Yeah. And because they never, in their minds, this was never possible.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even coming into this year, it was, it's the same Mariners. Then they go for it all at the deadline. They make the big moves. Then they lose 14 of 17. And you're like, damn.
I do have to wonder, how it must feel. Look, we're Orioles fans, right?
Yeah.
We know the pain that comes with losing. The Orioles have been a part of some of the worst teams in MLB history. So we know what the pain is like. After winning, though, after actually being a good team. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand, and I want a Mariners fan to actually comment on this. I'm trying to understand in my mind how you become a Mariners fan if you don't live in Seattle. Maybe you do, whatever. B, how you handle you're just we're just going to go hang out at the game and that's going to be it. We probably won't win. Actually, we know we won't because we never have. And or is it just that you hold out a hope every year thinking that you're going to make your way to it? Tonight could be that night for you Mariners fans. And I couldn't be more excited for you. I'm also pulling for the Mariners only because I always just like seeing a new team in it. Yeah. Or a team that hasn't been in it a while. I understand what you're saying, Zach, as far as a team being in a division of your favorite team and you don't want to see them go any further. But I just like the fact of the parody of it all. I want to, if the Blue Jays make it, I'm not going to be that upset about it, but I would love to see the Mariners in this game. And just looking at the matchup in this series so far, not a whole lot of things that are that surprising. Toronto leads the series 12-8 as far as home runs are concerned and batting average, 265 versus 242. Pitching, no surprise here. is better on the Seattle side, but not by much. 3.12 ERA versus 3.45. They have scored first in 9 of the 11 playoff games that they've played, which is actually kind of crazy. This has been the exciting part about this series too. It's like the Mariners do go out in front first, and for whatever reason, they just kind of fall apart. Game tonight is at 7:08. Kevin Gausman's on the mound. I love this from the Blue Jays, putting Gausman on the mound. I don't know if I love it if they win this game, because Gausman should be the starter of the World Series.
Yeah, but that's what the fun of Game 7 is there is no tomorrow if you lose.
I know.
So
I know.
That, I think that's where, you talk about the kitchen sink, you're going to see it tonight, because it doesn't. If you are on that 26-man roster, you could be called upon in some aspect tonight. It doesn't matter if you just pitched 2 days ago. It doesn't matter if you're a starter. Usually, it doesn't matter if you're high relief, high leverage relief, low leverage relief. If it's the second inning and there's guys on second and third, one out, and you're the closer, you might be coming in the game, because that is the most important thing right there. This is going to, this has one of those feelings of just a game where you just feel like something magical is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know for which side. I don't know, but there's just something about this game in Game 7 with two teams that are doing everything they can, two fan bases that want nothing more than to win this game. Like you said with the parity, this isn't the Yankees, trying to get back to the World Series from last year. This isn't the Astros trying to get back to like their 8th World Series in the past 12 years. It's not the Dodgers trying to get back. These are two teams, one that has never been, the Mariners have never even entered a game with the possibility, I guess, until last game, of even going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Now they are both one win away. And it's just absolutely incredible. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. And we do have some of Bali's best bets here in regards to this game. And they're brought to you by our friends over at Hollywood Casino and Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Well, that was a little out of tune.
Yeah, no, it's a little rough.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
That's
We're
right.
just going to chalk it up to it's a Monday.
But yeah, it's been brought to you by our friends over at Hollywood Casino over there at Charlestown Races. Shout out to them. And they are they are involved with ESPN Bet as well over there with Penn Entertainment. So, Bali, what do you got for us tonight in this game?
I love it. It's a quick week. It's one of my favorite bets, and I've been doing this in these big games, and it's been working a decent amount. I love no run first inning. It's one of my favorite bets. You get a lot of, Kevin Gausman on the mound, George Kirby, and these guys, like, if they get a guy on third, and usually in a regular game, it's like, okay, guy on third, one out. We'll take the out at first if we get a ground ball. No, we are cutting everything down. You do not want, you're going to have the kitchen sink, a lot of nerves as well. I feel like all of these games, everyone's like, it's going to be high scoring, a lot of things. It can obviously go for the pitchers as well, but I feel like usually it takes like an inning or two for both teams to kind of settle in and get to. So it's about minus 132, but yeah, no runs in the first inning is what I'm riding with for this game.
I like it. I mean, you got ace pitcher versus ace pitcher. I mean, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I will say you got one thing going against you, Zach.
Yeah.
And that's Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Oh, he's the one I'm afraid of.
He's batting 350 just in this series alone. And we saw what he did to the Yankees. Got 3 jacks in the series versus the Mariners. Rodriguez has 5 steals. I think that's going to be your biggest wild card there.
Yeah. Well, personally, and I think that fans are going to hate it. If there is nobody, if you have an open base and I'm the Mariners, I am putting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on. I am telling him to just walk to first, because in this game like this, with this magnitude, hell, even the same for, with the Blue Jays, with Cal Raleigh, facing him, like, there are 2 guys in these lineups that you look at and you're like, I do not want them to be the one that beat me.
Yeah.
If, someone else gets the big hit, that happens. But it's going to be tough to live with yourself if you had a first base open and you let Vladdy or Cal Raleigh hit a big go-ahead 2-run homer, 3-run homer. I mean, that's not going to sit well.
Yeah. We have I have minus 120 for the Jays. Is that what you got? Taking this series?
Man, let me see. Yes, that's yep.
So there you have it. Jays are favored to win tonight. We'll see what happens. I'm still pulling for the Mariners. Before we move on, I did want to address some things that are going on in the chat. So, first of all, Steve, appreciate the correction. I think I said 7:08. It's 8:10 for the first pitch tonight. So for people are confused about the member chat. People can see the members chat. You just can't chat in the members chat. You can't just say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," if you're not a member. So click that join button next to join, and you can be involved in the stream. And I really don't care if people are pissed off about it. That's just business.
I think Joe was saying he pissed off a lot of people.
I'm just confused. But anyway, if you want to be in the chat, if you want to hang out with us, you want to be involved in the stream and be interactive, just hit the join button next to subscribe. Help support the channel. We take everything that we make and reinvest it into the studio, upgrading equipment, all kinds of stuff. So you love what you see, you want to keep supporting us, just click the join button. It's $4.99 or $9.99, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be in the Rips Better Kids, you get all kinds of extra goodies such as newsletters and private streams and all kinds of other content. You get access to some of the interviews that we do early before anybody else gets to see them as well. So we provide you with a lot of goodies before the general public sees any of it. And a lot of it's very exclusive as well. So hit the join button next to subscribe, and we'd love to have your support. What else we got, Zach? What else is on the docket?
God,
we're so efficient with this show.
Yeah, I know. We also got to talk about, while we're sticking with baseball, it was a few days ago, but we did arguably see the greatest performance any athlete has ever put on in the history of sports themselves with Shohei Ohtani in a game clincher. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 10 punch outs. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go hit 3 home runs myself.
Yeah.
I don't think, if there was ever a doubt on who the greatest player in baseball history was, if there's ever a doubt of the greatest talent that we've seen, it is by the minute just being thrown out the window, because every time Shohei steps up to the plate, steps on the mound, you sit there and you go, there's no player in history that'd be able to do this. It's just unbelievable to pitch in a game clinching, to go to in the NLCS game clincher, 6 scoreless, striking out 10, and then going out there and hitting 3 home runs. Unbelievable.
I don't think enough people are appreciating just how great Shohei Ohtani is. And I don't think that it's one of those things that I think that we're looking at it and like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. So don't get me wrong. We are acknowledging the greatness, but I don't know if we're acknowledging as much as we should about how he is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He literally, we're watching the greatest of all time at his peak play baseball better than anybody else has in its 150-year history. Yeah. I'm talking he's playing better than Babe Ruth. He's playing better than Hank Aaron. He's playing better than Barry Bonds. Anybody that you could think of that knows how to hit a long ball. Oh yeah, by the way, he also pitches like a goddamn ace. And he's had 3 Tommy John surgeries. He comes back and still just plays like it's never happened. This is just absolutely insane what he's doing. And even if you're not a fan of the Dodgers, you have to be a fan of what's going on. It's just, and the way that he does it, that one ball, 469 feet? Yeah. He smashed that thing. Unbelievable what Shohei Ohtani is doing. And I know that everybody's just like, oh yeah, it's so great. But to really sit back and look at this and be like, this is the greatest baseball player of all time. Hands down. There's no argument, period.
Yeah. And you just, every time you think, okay, he's reached the peak. Look, he just does it again.
Ted Williams didn't pitch. He didn't strike out 10 batters.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I was listening to people talk about it earlier today. People throw perfect games. Shohei Ohtani, I believe, was the 12th player ever in playoff history to hit 3 home runs in a game. 12 people before him, so 11 people ever have done that. Those 11 people didn't go and pitch 6 scoreless. while striking out 10.
I know.
And that's the thing. Like, if you want to say, oh, from one side, like, oh, he's not the best pitcher of all time. Okay, he's probably not the best pitcher of all time. Is he the best hitter statistically of all time? Maybe not. But when you are in the conversation for both,
yeah,
that probably means you're the greatest athlete that we've seen on a baseball field.
He was borderline a Hall of Famer before he got to the Dodgers.
Oh, without it, if he would have hung it up, you go, yes.
Yeah. And so, and to see that he's still playing at this level, he has no regression at all. You look at what the $750 million contract he has. I know a lot of it's going to be deferred, but $750 million has been invested. The Dodgers have already made that back.
Oh,
because of that one play.
Easily. And that's the other thing, people want to talk about, ruining baseball, that like the Dodgers are spending money, but they're getting everything back because of the investments they've been making. I mean, if you spend money, you're going to get more money when your team's doing better, revenue, all that. I mean, they cornered the Japan market. I mean, last year's World Series, I think game 5 had more people, like it was one of the highest viewed, United States World Series of all time.
Yeah.
And it was outdone by the views in Japan alone. Like 18 million people in Japan watched game 5 alone. And like, there's your reason. There's where all the revenue, that made $750 million. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, how is this possible? Why would you pay him that much money? Because like you said, Brad, because you're making it back probably in the first year. And I mean, he's an absolute show by himself. He is just, I've run out for things to say. Like, he's already at a 51.5 career WAR. Like he's going to end up as one, and that's only in what, like 8 seasons? Yeah, 8 years. And that's, like you said, that includes years where he did not hit, pitch, anything. Like it genuinely is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And look, I see what you're saying here, Rick, as far as they need a salary cap. I would say that this postseason has proven anything, basically disproven that you need a salary cap at this point. I've gone back and forth on this myself, so I understand where you're coming from. Of the 4 teams that were in the championship series, 3 of them were not in the top 15, if I'm not mistaken, Zach.
Yeah.
In salaries. And definitely wasn't the Brewers. So look, at the end of the day, are the Dodgers going to beat whoever's in the World Series, whoever they're playing against the World Series? Probably, and they might end up doing it in 4 games. But I think when you look at it, there is still parity in the MLB because baseball is hard. It's that hard. You could have the most talented roster. And the only reason that I think the Dodgers are doing so well is because not only do they have the most talented starting roster, the depth that they've added has been absolutely incredible. You look at the Mets, and they're what, top 2? Are they number 2 in salary this year? I want to say.
Yeah.
And they didn't even make the playoffs. So I think, yes, money has a lot
2 is Mets. If you want to talk about the active, 1 is Dodgers, 2's Mets, 3 is Atlanta. Those 2 missed the playoffs. 5 is Toronto.
Atlanta's number 3?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's because they paid all their players super early. Toronto is 5, but then, I mean, you go down, Seattle is 16.
Toronto's 5. Okay.
Yeah. And, Milwaukee's 14. So all in the top 16. But here's the thing, like,
you can shotgun money at a team, but it doesn't, if you don't add the depth, if you don't find the right talent for that team, like, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. And we've seen that from Steve Cohen. I mean, he's been tossing money at the Mets for the last 5 years, and they haven't really done a whole lot in the playoffs.
Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think these numbers must be off because I think they are taking out every team that is eliminated. They're taking out salary. So let me go to 2025 real fast because that's going to show us a better.
Either way, my point being is, like, we know the Mariners aren't anywhere near.
So, and that's the point I want to make real fast because I got the right number. So, Milwaukee's 17th, Mariners are 11th this season, but it's also not like they weren't spending much more than, like, the Orioles spent $6 million less than their payroll, $6 million less than the Mariners.
Yeah.
The Orioles had spent more, actually $37 million more than Milwaukee. That's So,
Right.
and I've seen this big argument. I actually think this is a good point. People want to talk about the Dodgers are ruining baseball. These guys that are spending all this money, they're ruining baseball. I would counter it with people that are ruining baseball are the Miami Marlins, the Oakland, or whatever you want to call them, the Athletics, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the teams. I'll even put this out. The Brewers are helping ruin baseball because the Brewers just went to the NLCS. And then the first news after they get eliminated is that they're shopping their ace because they don't want to pay $9 million in a contract year. That's ruining baseball.
That is ruining baseball.
It's not the guy. If every owner had the mindset of, I want the top player, I will pay as much as I want to get him, as much as we need, and we're going to actually bid for these guys, that's different. But when it's 5 teams that are going all out and then a bunch of other teams that are like, we just want to kind of shed payroll even though we just made it to the NLCS, that's what's ruining baseball.
Right. Well, and you look at other leagues that do. Let's just compare the MLB to the NFL right now, right? You want to talk about salaries and how they affect parity, and that like it's always the teams with the biggest spend the most money are in, which we kind of just disproved just in this year alone. But look at the NFL. There's 3-4 teams that have won the Super Bowl in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, you have Tom Brady was in there. He's won 7 Super Bowls. You have the Chiefs that have won 3. They've been in the Super Bowl five times in the last 7-8 years. So it doesn't necessarily bring parity to the league. And I think that this is the argument that players and even fans are starting to make as far as the salary doesn't really change a whole lot. You do see bigger star power. I mean, that's inevitable. You're going to spend more money. You're going to see bigger stars on those types of teams. But even in the past with the Dodgers were kind of where the Mets are, I would say right now, as far as, maybe 10, 15 years ago, where they'd spend gobs of money and then like get in the playoffs and blow it either in the first or second round. Yeah. And so now it's just that they've kind of figured out the formula and now have the money to back it up. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some sort of regulation that goes on as far as salary is concerned and what you can and can't do, but at the same time, doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything, and it might not even guarantee you a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's where it's crazy because so many people want to talk about like with the Dodgers specifically. I think they are doing baseball the way baseball should be done because not only are they spending the most money to go get those players, I think an underrated aspect of it is the midseason farm system rankings. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers are number 1 in farm system. And these aren't guys that they've traded to acquire guys at a deadline to boost up their numbers. Right. They've traded guys away, but they are so good at finding talent, developing talent that, you look at their team and you're like, oh, they have all these big, these big names that they're going out and get. Freddie Freeman, they bought him. Yes. If you want to say Mookie Betts, they traded for him. Mm-hmm. Obviously the whole thing with Shohei Ohtani, they bought him. Yamamoto, you bought by him. But a lot of these guys are guys that came up through the Dodgers system. Yeah. And like,
was Teoscar Hernandez homegrown?
I want to say
homegrown guy.
No, he was Mariners, but he was not a guy that, in his first few years, I mean, started with Houston, was in Toronto for a while, but like he's putting that
was gonna be my point. Like he wasn't Teoscar Hernandez until he became a Dodger. Yeah,
and then he, obviously in 21 hit 32 homers with Toronto, but he wasn't this big time superstar, big postseason performer until he got to the Dodgers. So it's not like they are just shoveling out money to everyone. Like they
know how to spend it.
Yeah, and especially their pitching staff. Like, they've gone out and obviously they've gotten Snell, Glasnow, and those guys. But a lot, especially their early success in that like 2020 run, they were very homegrown with their arms and all of that.
It's an interesting take. What about the salary floor? We've heard about this a little bit. Yeah. So Charles W. says the salary floor is a lot more important than the cap. Let's force teams to put our money to make their team better instead of punishing the teams that are willing to do what it takes to win. I don't know what to make of that. What are your thoughts on that take?
I've always said I've wanted a floor, but there's no floor without a cap, and there's no cap without a floor.
And then it gets really messy.
Yeah, because at that point we're going to see teams just literally probably giving the same players just a little bit more, just because they're like, screw it, if I have to spend.
Yeah, they're always going to find a loophole.
Yeah, they're going to find a way to be super cheap.
Yep.
So that's why I think if you are going to do a floor, you have to do a cap. If you're going to do a cap, you have to get a floor, because, my biggest issue is it's the people that just refuse to spend. I mean, I think the biggest example you can use right now is the Pittsburgh Pirates have one of the best young rotations that you could possibly have when you put everything together. And if they just wanted to spend, like if they went out this offseason and just threw money at Pete Alonso, they just got 3 big bats to add to that lineup, they would be a playoff team.
Yeah.
They'd be a playoff team, and they could probably, I'm not saying go to the World Series or anything, they could maybe win the wild card, maybe win a few divisional games.
Yeah.
But they are very openly like, nah, we're good. We don't want to spend. That's the issue. It's not the Dodgers saying, hey, we'll do anything we can so we can win. We want to win a World Series.
Right.
It's the owners that are going, I just don't want to pay for players right now. Like, I'm good. We don't. Yeah. I know we have a young core that if we built around could be really, really fun and sustainable for success over the next few years, but that mean we'd have to shell out $50 million more, and right. I don't want to. Let's not do that. Let's not have people have a reason to show up to the ballpark.
Yes. Well, and a lot of these teams do have the money. They're just not spending it.
Exactly.
And so I understand where that floor concept comes from. But ultimately that comes from them just having some self-awareness and knowing, some of these owners just don't even like baseball.
Yeah, it's a business.
Baltimore had one of those. So I just, I don't know what the answer is. I don't think there really needs to be one. I think baseball's fine.
Yeah.
Then some of the rule changes I was even like a little apprehensive about, but the game has improved with some of those rule changes. I mean, the pitch clock and all that. The game's more exciting now that you can steal more because the bags are bigger. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I think MLB hasn't figured out quite yet is the extra innings situation. I don't think a runner should be on second to start the extra, the 10th inning. I don't like that. I do like, however, an idea or a concept of like mixing in what they did at the All-Star game with like traditional extra innings. Like you get to like, I don't know, you figure the 13th inning or no, the 12th inning is kind of like triple overtime. Yeah. And once you get past triple overtime, now it's sudden death. It's like hockey, right? Like you're just going to do a shootout. So like, why not? Let's just do a home run derby after the 13th inning or the 12th inning. And then whoever hits the most home runs after that wins the game. Mm-hmm. It's entertaining. Yeah. It's entertaining. You know that you're not going to be there till 3:00 in the morning watching a baseball game. I talked about this with Calvin, and he hates this idea, by the way, which shocker. I mean, the guy's 65 years old. He's always played baseball the old-fashioned way, and I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, there has to be an entertainment factor. You can't be playing baseball until 3 a.m. in the morning anymore. Just not the way that the world is moving. I would say, and when we were talking about it, Calvin had said that in Rochester, he was part of the longest game in baseball history, which I believe was, I want to say it was something insane, like 33 innings. They played it over several days. I'm just like, what? This is why we need something in play. Like you can't play 33 innings. You just can't. And so I like the idea of just like, hey, we're going to play traditional baseball all the way up to like the 12th inning. And then after that, it's home run derby time. Yeah. And then we settle the game.
Yeah, it just, I agree. I hate the runner on second. And it even sucks because they were done with it. We literally, what was it, like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, guys, this is the last year we're doing it. So once the regular season's over, we're never going to have that again.
Yeah.
And then like middle of the off season, they like just kind of snuck in an announcement. They're like, yeah, no, super excited for the season. We're going to keep the extra innings rules the same. A lot of fun things this year. A lot of fun things. Nothing different. We are going to keep those things the same, actually. I know we said we weren't, but we're just going to do that. And it's like everyone was like, wait, why? Like it's not – like I understand they want to speed the game up, but then it also it feels tacky.
Yeah, and Rick says he's with Cal, and I can appreciate that. Let us know in the comments. Like, first of all, we're done talking about whatever it is that we're going to talk about. If you guys want to talk about anything, let us know in the comments. Would appreciate that. But if you're with Calvin, if it just needs to be the same old, we'll just continue to play regular innings until there's a winner, even if it's 17 innings and position players are pitching and the quality of the game has gone to shit. Fine, we can do that. That was my thing. So Cal was like, oh, well, I don't think the game should be decided on, who can hit the most home runs, because you just, it's not, you're not playing the game the way it was meant to be played. And I can appreciate that. But the game's also not meant to be played till you run out of pitchers. And then now you have your outfielder throwing softballs to your batter either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know where he's coming from, and I know where people who are traditionalists are coming from too, but like, I mean, let's be real about that.
Yeah. And that's where, the rules are going to have to.
Chris Davis going out there and pitching in the 17th
it's
inning.
fun. It's fun after a point, but at the same time, it's not sustainable.
No.
You can't be having.
It has been sustainable, to be fair.
Yeah, I just think sustainable in the fact of, I get why they don't want that happening, but also how often did we see that? Like, I think that sometimes they try to find fixes to problems that, like, if every other game was going to extras, I'd understand why they're like, okay, we got to hurry.
Well, it does mess with you. I mean, I remember watching I think it was 17, 18 inning game is Orioles Mariners in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Game wasn't over till 4 a.m. East Coast time. And then you have to go play the game the next day.
Yeah.
That's the part. Like, then your risk of injury goes up. Like, there are factors that go into this, especially the way that the game has evolved.
Yeah. And then there was that weird, I guess it would start during the COVID year and then went over into the next. But remember when it was double headers, they just were 7 innings. And it was so weird. Because then Madison Bumgarner threw a no-hitter and everyone was like, do we consider this?
Yeah.
Like, it's 7 innings. It's a no-hitter, but
just throw an asterisk on it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like they've been trying recently to really try to fix things. I'm excited for ABS. I think I
am too.
Actually,
and this is what I'm saying. Like, go back to the root of our conversation of just, I don't think the salary cap needs to change. The salary cap issue needs to be introduced. I think the way that baseball is going, they're going in the right direction. MLB is doing all the right things. And the ABS coming in next year is going to be another improvement to the game. We're seeing more and more young people get involved with baseball. And so I think that's going to continue. I'm excited to see where baseball is going. And I know a lot of people have their opinions on Manfred and that sort of thing. I think being a commissioner is a thankless job. I'm not saying that the commissioners of these leagues do all the right things.
Yeah.
And I have my own opinions about Roger Goodell too, but like Rob Manfred, if you look at the whole scope of what he's done for baseball, I think it's pretty good for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I did just saw something about Harbaugh refusing to comment on Lamar, but
well, of course you did.
Yeah, exactly. That's expected.
Shocker.
People freaking out about that. But I think baseball, for the most part, is getting it right. I was very skeptical on the pitch clock, especially, I mean, it was like the first spring training game they ever did with it. It was like the game ended with the bases loaded, 2 outs because of a pitch clock violation. Everyone was like, okay, is that what's going to happen all the time now? Like, we're just standing around and we get announced a winner. But it is, I mean, obviously the adaptation of it, I think ABS is going to be seamless after a few weeks, honestly.
I do too.
And
I mean, it's already been seamless in minor leagues. So
exactly. And I think we're just starting with that. I know it's like 2 challenges per game or however they go about it. It's going to slowly go more and more. And it should. I mean, if it's literally one of those things, I'm not sitting here and I don't think it's going to be one of those things where they're challenging every pitch,
right.
And obviously with your limited challenges, you're not. But I think the biggest reason for this is just you want to get rid of the egregious stuff.
Yeah.
If there's a ball that, barely.
And shit, we saw that in the playoffs already.
Yeah.
We saw the Padres game. That was absolutely insane.
Exactly. And it's like, that's what you're not trying to eliminate, the ball that was a half inch on the outside corner called for strike 2 with the no one on, no outs in the middle of the second inning. Like, that's not what you're trying to, like, that's, you hope you get that right, but that's not, you're trying to eliminate the big time situation where there's an egregious miss and now you can get the call right so that you are not stepping in. We already do it with, challenges and crew chief reviews. I mean, that for a while, there were people who were like, this is going to, change baseball. You can't, it's human elements, part of the game. And now challenges, you maybe get one a game, if anything. I think this is going to add 45 seconds to the game, and it's just going to make it better.
Yep. I agree. Apparently we're having there he is. Well, we did have the most efficient show of all time until this guy showed up.
No, it's okay. The efficiency can continue on. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
Yeah, like new phone too. So I'm curious.
You're looking good.
Well, that's a stretch.
You're looking clear.
Yes.
That's better. That's better. But
more detail.
Hey, very efficient show, fellas. Zach, did I miss your best bet?
You did.
Yeah, we're doing game 7 tonight, so I'm going no runs in the first inning. Let the nerves settle in. Love it. Sweatiest 6 outs in baseball.
Oh, sugar.
It is. There's nothing more demoralizing. Like when Jackson Churio hit that first pitch home run and you're sitting there with no runs in the first inning and you're like, awesome. Okay, so that's over with. And then you just got to sit there silently and watch him trot around the bases. It happens, but not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah, you sound like that's from personal experience.
Maybe a little bit.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, no, I just was checking in. You guys, very efficient show without me. Definitely, that's usually how it goes. It's a little bit cleaner. We will be back full go this weekend or Thursday. Yeah, lot to discuss. This jacket, though, can I pull this off?
Yes. I'm happy to see you in something other than a blue jacket, Rip.
Yeah, I know, right? We're updating the wardrobe as well as upgrading my skill set. That can be a teaser for people in the future. So, yeah, we're really working on the appearance here, to say the least.
I'm proud of you.
I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. Thank you. Just so I can show it off. Oh, I took part one. I took the first tarp off because I got a little too hot, and it's my only white shirt I brought up here. So, that's about it. Zach, I don't know if you saw Igbuka is going to be active tonight, and I'm in a little bit of a conundrum.
What you got?
I'm down 14.9 in the big money league, okay?
Uh-oh.
And it's start Igbuka with apparently Mike Evans is back, or go with Rashid White. No Bucky Irvin.
Mike Evans is back.
Yeah, Mike Evans returns.
I got Baker Mayfield as my QB. He's going to score 50 points tonight.
He might. It's going to be an entertaining game. The one that's actually starting at a normal time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, it's just
that's such bullshit. I got Seattle's defense tonight too, and I'm just like, now I got to stay up till 2 a.m. to see how this goes.
Yeah. I have a big fantasy league that comes down to I'm up by like 6 points, and he has Amon Ra, and I have JSN.
Yeah. Also, for me, it was a very interesting day for me because yesterday I had only about 3 players playing in the 1 o'clock games, and another 5 playing in the 4 o'clock games, and then 1 last night, which was Christian McCaffrey, and that guy went off. But now I have 3 players that still have yet to play. So to start off yesterday, I was down 110 to 12, and now it's leveled itself out, and now it's 78 to 132. But I still have Baker Mayfield, I still have Nico Collins, and I have the Seattle defense. So it's still very much a game for me.
You're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it. I had. I gotta check. I was in a battle in the Holy Shirts and Pants League, but I didn't see it. Probably wasn't in my favor because, I'm not proud of my team's performance recently. It could be better. It wasn't good last week. I had another league where I'm in first, and I put up with 2 flexes. By the way, 2 flexes, 45 total points.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey had about 45 total points by himself.
Yes.
So shirts and pants, man. Also, it's a good reason. The 49ers, hey, if you really just want to give it to a guy, it's possible. The 49ers offense is literally just like in Kicking and Screaming. You pass it to the Italians, you give the ball to Christian McCaffrey. And watching this as someone that had Drake London, and yes, they say he had 10 targets. You watch that game, you know that's just anyway. But point being, you can get your players the ball. It's possible. Like just say, hey, here you go. All right, rant over. Game 7 should be great. If the Blue Jays win, I want to show that video of Don Mattingly on Thursday because for all the ones that say batting average doesn't matter, that would be the team with the highest batting average going to the World Series after scratching and clawing, being down 2-0 because they didn't get cold, they didn't get complacent. But Game 7, anything can happen.
They do all that just to get boat raced by the Dodgers.
You know? Yeah, I mean, probably.
I mean, that's what we were discussing before we went on air today. It's just like, this is highly entertaining. I'm really happy for like the Mariners and Blue Jays fans out there. And this is where their road ends because once they get in the World Series, the Dodgers are just going to be the Dodgers and probably winning 4 games.
Yeah, the one thing too with Dave Roberts saying, let's ruin baseball. I'm just thinking to myself, why are you saying that? Because I don't like. I think it's cool if they win. People are going to be mad and be, it's a dynasty. Which, by the way, if you go through all the teams, I saw someone say like the Milwaukee Brewers were they developed, which they did develop some guys, but they added Andrew Vaughn that the White Sox didn't want, and he went off. Blake Perkins, one of their outfielders, was my roommate with the Nationals. Let's see who else. Joey Ortiz was an Oriole.
Christian Yelich.
Well, Christian Yelich was a trade. Just the Dodgers, just no one wanted to. The Red Sox were like, Mookie, we're not going to pay you. We're going to trade you.
It's so funny. We had this conversation right before you came on because somebody in the chat talked about like the salary cap, that there needs to be one. And we were just making arguments actually against the salary cap and all the things the Dodgers did that they didn't spend money on. That, like, yes, they spent $750 on Shohei Ohtani and they spent a shit ton of money on Yamamoto, but they have, as Zach pointed out, the best farm system in Major League Baseball. And they've also done some things, as you'd mentioned, made trades for Mookie Betts and whatever else. So it's not just that they've spent money, because they have, but they've done a lot of other things to make that team as great as it is.
Like, people don't understand.
Damn it.
And we won't either.
Somebody must be calling him.
Yeah, we'll give him if he rejoins.
No, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're back.
Sorry, popular guy. I think I'm getting a phone call. But people what I was saying, people don't understand that the Dodgers, when they won last year, and it's always recency bias, right? Everyone said the Dodgers couldn't win the playoffs, right? Until 2020, until they actually won their first World Series in this century, right? And then all of a sudden they win last year because they signed Ohtani, but they also were one game from being eliminated by the San Diego Padres. They had 13 starting pitchers on the IL, and the reason why they were able to get back to the World Series last year, get to the World Series last year, was mainly because some of their parts stepped up, like Tommy Edman, which people can go, they got such great players. Tommy Edman's a really good player that no one talks about, but he was very clutch. Kike Hernandez went other places and didn't have the same success, and he's just a legend in the postseason for the Dodgers. You need other players to step up.
Hernandez as well.
Sorry?
Teoscar Hernandez as well. We had mentioned that.
Yeah, and they spent money, but when they had other guys step up or players throughout their system come up and just do the damn thing. And that's why the Dodgers are so good year in and year out. And I got to give credit to the Yankees. I know they lost this year, but the reason why the Yankees stayed afloat as well with all their pitching issues, Like they have arms that come up through their system that are really good.
Yeah, the depth is really good.
So like it matters. So for the Orioles, like for Orioles fans, the players coming up and making an impact immediately is going to really be important for Baltimore in 2025, regardless of who they sign. And then heck, guys, maybe a friend of the show, friend of the program, that when you have you are signed as not being considered any big piece, and then you become an integral part of the season, aka Mr. Gavin Sheets, friend of the show, friend of the program. Gavin signed a minor league deal with an invite to big league camp. No guarantee he's going to be on the roster. And he played himself onto the roster and had a great year.
Yeah.
You're going to need guys like that. And the Dodgers just happen to have that. And then, by the way, Ohtani just,
I was just about to say, so while we're on the subject of the Dodgers, Rip, Shohei Ohtani, the greatest baseball player of all time.
I think that we will never see a talent like him again.
Zach
in
and
our
I
lifetime
here because, like,
in our lifetime,
you could rattle off any name, any of the greats, any Hall of Famer in MLB history. I just don't know if there's one that goes 6 scoreless, 10 strikeouts, hits 3 jacks in an NLCS game. We just use that example alone. Like, there's no other player in history that has been able to or has done that, and he could do it again if he wanted to.
It's essentially, putting it just this way, it was the best individual postseason performance across any sport ever. And not saying clutch, like not saying the clutchest in the history of sports, because there's been a lot of moments where people were Mr. Clutch. Don't want to take that away from people. But the best individual performance from start to finish were a guy that went 6 innings, 3 for 3, by the way.
Yeah.
He didn't get out at the plate, and it was 3 jacks. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. We take it for granted, I think, like honestly, because people want to find reasons of why he shouldn't be the MVP, which I get. Oh, you're saying, well, he can get it every single year. Well, understandably so. He's a top 5 hitter in baseball, and he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball when he's healthy. And if he's really on, he's a top 2 hitter and a top 3 pitcher in baseball. And he's one player. It's so insane. And honestly, we could make the argument that you could say he's the best hitter, right? Like that's the ridiculousness of this. Travis Hunter in the NFL is super talented and is playing both sides. And right now, he's still not considered the top wide receiver, and he's not considered the top cornerback. He could end up being that, but that's what Travis would have to do to be in this conversation. And that's what's so crazy about Shohei. It's baseball fan. I love it. Yeah. I love it. And the Dodgers, goodness gracious, man.
He is the Babe Ruth of our time. And I could make the argument that he's probably better than Babe Ruth was then.
Yeah. I think also Shohei Ohtani can steal 50 bags.
Right.
It's the more you say it out loud, the more ridiculous it is. It's just the honest truth.
I don't know if we can. I don't know if you can make an argument for a better player of all time than Shohei because of all the things that we keep talking about.
I don't know if you can create a better player. No. Like if you were to say right now, go on whatever game it was, and I keep going back to, MVP baseball is the one I really played back in 2005, and John Dowd's supposed to be Barry Bonds, right? Whatever create a player you want to make, and maybe it's MLB The Show, I don't know if you can make a better player. I don't. I really don't. I mean, unless you say, the guy's going to play the outfield and pitch. No, he's going to hit and he's going to pitch, create what that looks like. And I don't think it even does it justice what Shohei Ohtani does. And I think I tell you guys this all the time. Your peers are your biggest compliments to the sport or whatever that you do. If your peers are in all of you, and these are guys at the top of their level, and I'm seeing Freddie Freeman with his hands over his head and just everyone looking at each other in the dugout, how does this possible? And they're saying, He is one of one. He's the best by far. And these are Hall of Fame players. That tells you something. Like that explains it in a nutshell. So
Yeah.
I digress. Good luck to the Jays or the Mariners.
Who do you think's winning that game tonight?
I think if the Mariners win, it's going to have to be the long ball. But I think the Jays ride momentum and win Game 7.
Well, we just actually looked at it. So the Jays actually have the Mariners right now in total home runs hit.
Yep.
And they also have the Mariners on batting average by quite a bit. So I think tonight really comes down to pitching. You got Gosman on the mound as well. I mean, do you think that's what it comes down to? Is I know that you mentioned the long ball, but pitching's got to be there.
I think situational hitting is what it's going to come down to. So in my mind, and I think it was a couple days ago when I looked at it, and I know it's changed, but a few days ago before Game 5, maybe it was Game 4, Game 5, the Blue Jays led the playoffs in home runs and at batting average, and the Mariners were one of the lowest qualified teams in batting average, but one of the highest in home runs. So what's the story there? The Jays offense was rocking on all cylinders and found ways to manufacture runs. And for the Mariners, when they won, it was long ball doing damage. Game 5, the home run, a 5-run 8th inning where Suarez hits a grand slam. When they've won almost every big game, it's really been a big part of the long ball for them. So they would have to play a different style of baseball, which I think that they could. But if Gosman can get swing and miss, it's going to be really hard, I feel, for the Blue Jay or the Mariners to win. But if they get to them early, whoever strikes first, pressure's on. But I think if the Jays strike first, I think it will be much harder for the Mariners to come back than the other way around.
Because the Mariners have struck first. I think the majority of these games, and the Blue Jays have come back to win the ones that they have won. So that will be interesting as far as who strikes first and what the outcome of the game is. It seems as if even if the Mariners do score first, the pressure isn't quite there because they have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's hitting 350 in this series.
Yeah, I just think when you are a team that's confident in who you are, and so the Jays are confident that when things get stressful, they were the team that had the most comeback wins in Major League Baseball. They had the most two-strike hits in the ALDS. They had the best batting average in all of baseball. They fight. They grind. I think that comes out more. And if it does, that's the advantage to Toronto. The Mariners, how they win tonight is their starting pitching, which is their bread and butter. If they can go out there and deal early, and you have one of your big boppers go big ball, that could suck the life out of Toronto. But I still think that Toronto, if it's close and it's close late, I still am going to give them the advantage just because they feel really comfortable in the moment. I will say the Mariners. I hope the Mariners can break through the World Series at some point here.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool. The only team that hasn't done that, for all Orioles fans out there that follow us, imagine that your team has never been, ever.
We talked about this earlier in the show.
Ever.
Yeah.
They haven't been in 24 years to the ALCS. And yes, the Orioles, it's been a while, but not as long as that. Yeah, it's crazy to see, but we'll talk about that more after the game tonight. Should be great. I'm gonna go network and work on more of my skills, but I will let you guys stay efficient with the show. For everyone out there, hit the like and subscribe button. Am I missing anything else, Brad?
I think that's it.
Cool. And Zach, how do you spell $1?
Oh, so I'm glad you're listening. MERRITT.
Good.
We already covered that today.
Oh, I know. I just want to see if Zach knew how to spell that correctly.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, we got the bills paid today, too.
We did our thing.
Nice. Keep the lights on. Okay, sports. Go team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sports.
Team. Sports. All right.
Thanks,
See you
Rick.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah, get off the screen.
You know, that was a welcome distraction.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
that was good. That was good. Glad he has a different sport jacket.
Yes. You know, that's one thing we need to have Kelly back on for. Be like, why haven't? I mean, I would be shocked. I know this isn't Kelly's fault. Actually, I know this isn't Kelly's fault because we know Kelly, and we know that she wouldn't stand for Ryan only having 2 jackets. So this is a Ryan problem, not a Kelly problem.
Without a doubt, 1,000,000%.
This isn't how he was raised.
No chance. No chance. 1,000% on him.
Yeah. So anyhow, glad to see he's got a different jacket. He looks good in the brown. All right. So I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think
That's the
covered
show,
our
guys.
bases.
Hit the like and subscribe on your way out the door if you haven't done so already. We will be back Thursday. And hey, look, for those of you who are channel members, we might be back before then. So
Who knows?
Rib said he's gonna be on after the game. So I don't
Yeah.
more power to him if
Well,
that's going to be the case. But that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you guys. Zach, any final words?
No runs in the first inning. Let's get it done. Just lock in for 6 outs.
Lock it
baby.
in.
Lock in for 6 outs.
Lock it in. And Seattle to get a
Yeah.
couple pick sixes. That would be great. Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, God, what a weird night for Mariner fans. It's gonna just that would be depressing if they lose Game 7 and then it's like
And the
Seahawks starting now at 10:00. It's like it's gonna tough, but appreciate everyone for tuning in.
All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you Thursday.
Peace.